Hey, Patriots Nation! We're back with another exclusive update on everything happening in New England. Before we jump in, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button so you never miss any breaking Patriots news. The rumor that started as a whisper in tight inner circles has now exploded into a full-blown storm of speculation. Because the idea of the Patriots pulling off a shocking trade with the Broncos for Patrick II feels like the kind of move that reshapes power structures quietly before the rest of the league even realizes what is happening. Around the league, people are talking not about confirmation, but about intent, about philosophy, and about how this sudden connection between New England and Denver hints at a deeper strategic shift. The Patriots, a franchise known for calculated patience, are being linked to a bold defensive swing that suggests urgency mixed with long-term vision. Certain II is not just another defensive back in these rumors. He is being framed as a cornerstone, a statement that the Patriots want to rebuild their identity from the outside in, suffocating passing lanes and forcing offenses to second-guess every read. What makes this speculation even louder is the idea that this is not merely a roster move, but a cultural reset. Insiders suggest that conversations have centered on leadership, discipline, and adaptability, qualities long associated with New England's defensive tradition. The Broncos, on the other side, are rumored to be listening not because they want to, but because they might feel pressure to reshape their own timeline. This is why the rumor refuses to die, because it feels less like fantasy and more like inevitability forming slowly behind closed doors. What truly fuels this speculation is the shadow of Mike Vrabel hovering over the entire narrative, because his name keeps surfacing as a catalyst for aggressive thinking inside the Patriots building. Vrabel, known for his physical mindset and unapologetic edge, is rumored to have a strong voice in redefining how the Patriots want to be perceived defensively. The idea floating around is that Vrabel sees a player like Certain II as the ultimate chess piece, someone who allows the defense to dictate terms rather than react. In whispered conversations, people describe Vrabel pounding the table metaphorically, insisting that elite defenses begin with elite corners who erase one side of the field. This rumor paints Vrabel as a man who wants to flip momentum not with slogans, but with personnel. The Patriots, long associated with situational football and adaptability, are now being framed as a team ready to intimidate again. The Broncos, according to speculation, understand this leverage, which is why the talk are described as intense and layered, involving more than simple picks or players. It is about direction, about which franchise believes it is closer to contention and which one believes patience might serve them better. Vrabel's influence, whether official or philosophical, adds weight to the idea that New England is serious, focused, and ready to make people uncomfortable again. From Denver's perspective, the rumor carries a different emotional tone, one that blends reluctance with realism. Patrick II is widely viewed as a foundational talent, the kind of player teams build around rather than ship out. That is why the mere suggestion that the Broncos would even entertain such discussions has sent shockwaves through observers. Speculation suggests that Denver may be evaluating its competitive window and wondering whether holding on to a star corner truly aligns with where the roster is headed. In this narrative, the Broncos are not desperate, but pragmatic, weighing future flexibility against present excellence. The Patriots, sensing this internal debate, are rumored to be pressing at exactly the right moment, offering a vision rather than just assets. Sources close to the chatter say the conversation revolves around balance, about whether Denver wants to double down on defense or redistribute value across the roster. Certain II becomes the symbol of that crossroads. The rumor persists because it reflects a common league reality, where elite players sometimes move not because they failed, but because timelines do not match. In this speculative lens, Denver's willingness to talk is less about surrender and more about recalibration, a painful but sometimes necessary step in the pursuit of long-term stability. In New England, the tone of the rumor feels almost nostalgic, as if the franchise is flirting with a return to an identity that once defined it. The Patriots have long thrived on defenses that adapt, disguise, and punish mistakes, and adding a player like Certain II is seen as a shortcut back to that DNA. Speculation suggests that coaches envision complex coverages built on his ability to play press, zone, and hybrid roles without blinking. The rumor paints practice fields filled with experimentation, where one elite corner unlocks creativity across the entire defense. Veterans are said to be quietly excited by the possibility, because playing behind a shutdown corner changes everything, from pass rush timing to linebacker depth. This is why fans are buzzing even without confirmation, because the idea itself feels transformative. The Patriots are not rumored to be chasing headlines, but to be chasing control, the kind of control that turns games into slow burns where opponents grow frustrated. In this narrative, Certain II is less a luxury and more a necessity for a team determined to rebuild credibility on its own terms. The speculation continues because it aligns too neatly with what New England has always valued when it is at its best. The Broncos, meanwhile, are rumored to be wrestling with the optics as much as the substance. Trading a player of Certain II caliber is not just a football decision. It is a message to the locker room and the fan base. Speculation suggests that Denver's leadership is deeply aware of this, which is why any potential deal is being framed as complex and layered. The rumor hints at assurances, at behind-the-scenes explanations about vision and patience. Some whispers suggest the Broncos believe they can replace value through depth and flexibility rather than singular stars. Others argue that this is a dangerous gamble, one that risks alienating supporters who see Certain II as a symbol of hope. This tension is exactly what keeps the rumor alive, because it feels unresolved, emotional, and strategic all at once. The Patriots, according to speculation, are leveraging this uncertainty carefully, presenting themselves as a partner rather than a predator. Whether that perception holds is part of the intrigue. The rumor thrives in this gray space, where no side looks foolish, but both sides risk regret. As the speculation grows louder, the league watches not for announcements, but for subtle signals, because moves of this magnitude rarely arrive without smoke beforehand. Insiders claim that scouts, coaches, and executives are paying closer attention to every Patriots and Broncos interaction, searching for clues. The rumor has become its own storyline, shaping expectations even before reality intervenes. Patrick Certain II, silent in the middle of it all, has become the centerpiece of a narrative about ambition, patience, and identity. The Patriots are rumored to believe that defense still wins respect, and that respect eventually turns into dominance. The Broncos are rumored to believe that flexibility can be just as powerful as star power. Somewhere between those philosophies, this potential trade lives and breathes. Whether it happens or not almost feels secondary now, because the conversation itself reveals how both franchises see themselves. That is why this rumor feels so explosive, because it is not just about a player changing teams, but about two organizations quietly redefining who they want to be. The second wave of speculation pushes the narrative even deeper, suggesting that this rumored exchange could be a turning point not just for the Patriots and the Broncos, but for how elite defensive players are valued across the league. The chatter frames this moment as a test case, a scenario where a franchise traditionally built on offense watches closely to see if a defense led by a true lockdown corner can tilt momentum consistently. In this speculative world, the Patriots are not chasing trends, but challenging them, betting that discipline and coverage still disrupt modern passing attacks. Certain II is portrayed as the ideal experiment, young enough to anchor a system and polished enough to execute immediately. The rumor hints at internal presentations, film sessions, and hypothetical alignments where his presence allows New England to disguise intentions until the very last second. This kind of thinking excites defensive purists and terrifies offensive coordinators, which is why the rumor resonates beyond fan bases. The Broncos, in this version of events, are aware of what they might be giving up, which only adds gravity to the discussion. Every layer of this speculation reinforces the sense that something significant is being contemplated, even if silence remains the official stance. Mike Vrabel's name continues to surface in this second act of the rumor, not as a loud headline, but as an undercurrent shaping philosophy. Those close to the speculation describe Vrabel as someone who values mental toughness and accountability as much as physical talent. In this narrative, Certain II is not just a coverage specialist, but a tone setter, someone whose preparation elevates everyone around him. Vrabel is rumored to see defense as a collective mindset, where one elite piece raises standards across the board. This is why his influence, whether direct or inspirational, is seen as crucial. The Patriots, under this lens, are not impulsive. They are intentional, choosing players who align with a demanding culture. The rumor suggests that Vrabel's presence has emboldened decision-makers to think bigger, to accept short-term discomfort for long-term identity. This framing makes the potential trade feel less risky and more inevitable, as if it is the natural next step in a broader plan. Whether that plan succeeds is unknown, but the confidence behind it is what fuels the speculation. On the Broncos' side, the second part of the rumor leans heavily into the idea of strategic sacrifice. Denver is rumored to be evaluating how resources are allocated, questioning whether tying so much value to one defensive position aligns with their broader rebuild. This speculation paints the Broncos as thoughtful rather than reactive, willing to endure criticism if it leads to balance. Certain II, in this narrative, becomes a currency, a way to acquire flexibility, youth, or future opportunity. The rumor does not suggest dissatisfaction with the player, but rather an acceptance that no one is untouchable when vision shifts. This is a difficult pill for fans, which is why the whispers emphasize communication and transparency behind the scenes. The Broncos are rumored to believe that their defense can remain competitive through scheme and depth, even without a singular star. Whether that belief holds is uncertain, but it explains why talks, if they exist, are happening at all. The rumor persists because it presents Denver as a team willing to make hard choices rather than comfortable ones. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. Your support helps us bring you the latest updates on the New England Patriots. And of course, drop your thoughts in the comments. We love hearing from Patriots fans. Back in New England, the speculative excitement borders on cautious optimism. Patriot supporters are known for their skepticism, yet the idea of adding Certain II has ignited imaginations. The rumor suggests that the front office sees this as a chance to accelerate a reset without abandoning core principles. Defense, versatility, and intelligence remain central themes. Coaches are rumored to be imagining matchups where opponents are forced to abandon preferred concepts because one side of the field is essentially closed. This kind of control is intoxicating for a staff that values preparation. The speculation also hints that younger players would benefit immensely, learning from a corner who plays with technique and patience. In this narrative, Certain II is both a weapon and a teacher, shaping the next generation of Patriots defenders. The rumor feels grounded because it aligns with historical patterns, where New England invests heavily in players who elevate systems rather than chase highlights. The broader league context adds another layer to the speculation, because if this rumored move happens, it could encourage other teams to reconsider how they build defenses. Elite corners are rare, and seeing one potentially change teams at his peak would challenge assumptions about untouchable assets. Analysts whisper that this could spark a subtle shift, where teams become more willing to trade stars for structural flexibility. The Patriots and Broncos, knowingly or not, would be at the center of that shift. The rumor frames both franchises as thought leaders rather than followers, willing to test uncomfortable ideas. This is why executives around the league are paying attention, even without official confirmation. The speculation itself becomes a case study in modern roster construction, blending analytics, culture, and timing. Certain II stands at the center of it all, a reminder that football decisions are rarely just about talent. As the rumor continues to circulate, one thing becomes clear: silence does not equal inactivity. The absence of confirmation only deepens curiosity, encouraging fans and insiders to read between every line. The Patriots are rumored to be patient, confident that if the moment is right, they will strike. The Broncos are rumored to be deliberate, weighing every consequence. Patrick Surtain II remains the focal point, his name now synonymous with possibility and debate. Whether this speculation leads to reality or fades into off-season folklore, it has already revealed how fragile and fascinating team building can be. In the end, this rumor is less about certainty and more about ambition, about two franchises staring at the same chessboard and imagining different endgames. That tension is what makes this story feel alive and why people cannot stop talking about it. That's it for today's update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving fresh and exclusive Patriots news, make sure to subscribe and hit like. We always appreciate hearing your opinions in the comments. See you in the next one, Patriots Nation.